Okay, so I want to first share a quick victory with you. In May, I got a noise abatement order that made it against the law for me to use my megaphone in Covent Garden and the area surrounding. I received it in the post, which is not the usual way of doing it. And I have a very good relationship with the people in Covent Garden and any of the council members in Westminster. If they ever come up to me and they get a complaint, I move on because it doesn't make any difference to me. So because it makes their lives easier. But this came out of the blue, and it was signed by James Joyce, who, have any of you seen previous movies of where he's tried to take me to court and not been successful. Anyway, he was signing this noise abatement order, so I looked it up and I appealed it at the magistrates' court. And to cut a long story short, the barrister wrote to me the day before the court case, which was last Friday, saying after many talks with James Joyce, we've decided to withdraw the noise abatement order and so that I didn't have to go through that trial, the appeal. So that was great. But what I did instead is attended my local magistrates court on Friday and watched a very interesting case. It was a case of two people, I'd say they're probably in their late 30s, maybe early 40s, a man and a woman who were both in court. One was from, I think, Germany, a woman from Germany, and a guy from England. And they were in court for obstructing the road, I think. I didn't hear the charge, but something like obstructing the road at an Extinction Rebellion gathering in May or April. And it was an interesting to watch them. Both of them got up in the witness box and they gave some very eloquent speeches about, and the woman in particular was crying. She says, "I came over to see my four nieces and nephews, were aged 13, 9, 7, and 6, and I was arrested, and they took me away for 24 hours, and I couldn't see my nephews, and was only at the Extinction Rebellion thing because I care about our children and you know what kind of world they're going to live in." And then the guy got up. He said he had two children of his own, and he was, you know, giving statistics and telling how he's been doing these things and he doesn't regret it. And he tried to use a legal argument that suggesting that by disobeying the orders of the police to move from Lambeth Bridge to Marble Arch, he was saving lives, which I can't quite, you know. And well, anyway, that's what he said. And when the judge went to retire, they went outside, so I did with them. And they said, well, one day I'm sure a judge is going to rule in our favour and realise that our cause is right, etc. Right? Yeah. Anyway, we went in, and of course the judge said, we feel really bad about this. You're obviously good people. You're not doing it for, you don't have ill intentions. You've got very noble intentions, but you broke the law, and therefore we're going to have to find you guilty. And the prosecution asked for £620 costs from each of them, which I thought was very cheeky. And the judge was very nice, and he cut it in half, so they only had to pay £310 court costs, even though they were doing it together. So the court was cutting the cost, but the prosecutor still wanted to get double the amount of costs out of them, which is pretty schemy. It's pretty nasty. And then I was just laughing to myself as just as the judge told them that, he said straight away, "Can you pay that now?" It's so obvious that it's such a scammy business. He's trying to get the money out of these poor people. Anyway, so that was what I sort of witnessed on Friday, and then yesterday I was at the Extinction Rebellion. I didn't know that they were gathering pre their rebellion, in inverted commas, and I was having a chat with the police officers who said that they were questioning whether Extinction Rebellion were giving people good advice or not. And they gave out these forms about arrest, and on one of the forms they gave out, they said, always go no comment. Don't give your details even when you get to the police station. Don't take a caution, because a caution is admitting guilt, and a couple of other suggestions. And the problem I have with that, for anyone who's considering going to Extinction Rebellion, is that I don't know if that's good advice. Number one, why get yourself arrested in the first place? Because is your arrest really going to make the difference? I don't know. That's a very big question, number one. Number two, if you do get arrested, why wouldn't you accept a caution? Because admitting that you did something wrong is not, you don't have to admit that you did something wrong. You can just admit that you broke one of their rules. Because if you don't admit you broke one of their rules, then you're going to have to plead not guilty or not plead, which is the same thing. And then you're going to have to go through a trial like these guys that I saw, and you're going to be found guilty, and you're going to have to pay a big fine, and you're going to get a worse criminal record than if you take a caution. So why not take a caution? Why not give your details? Because in the end, I don't know what happens. But as far as I know, in the end, they will somehow get your details, or they'll take you to court. And it's, this kind of advice is not good, in my opinion. I question whether it's good for people who don't understand how the law works. People who've never been arrested, don't even know what a charge even is, possibly some of them. So, and I was there sort of sharing that yesterday, and they were screaming and shouting me down. Anyway, I just wanted to share that with you. If you are considering being part of Extinction Rebellion, please think about whether your arrest is going to actually make the blindest bit of difference, because I can't figure out how it is. There's no point in doing it if it's not going to be making a difference. You can be part of the whole thing without breaking the law. And you know how much regard I have for the actual rules themselves. I think the rules are a disgrace, many of them. But there's no point in breaking them unless, in my opinion, there's no point in breaking them unless you can be at least, 50% sure that by doing that is going to make a difference. So I'll leave you with that. Have a great day.